Dorgu isn't the only signing Manchester United are working on bringing in this summer. Tier 1 sources have confirmed Mateus Cunha, one to watch in the final weeks of the window, could be available. And if Alejandro Garnacho is sold, United would have the funds to do that deal for what is seen as the perfect replacement. What is the latest? Because it looks like the Garnacho sale really is likely to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen, but the news that's come out in the last 24 hours suggests that Napoli are going to pay up. The deal is closed. You've got Romano, loads of reliable sources confirming, yeah, there's been conversations, things are taking place. Could Rashford now be set to stay with Garnacho leading? What is the latest on Rashford? United offered Victor Osimhen by Napoli to lower the Garnacho fee. Luke Shaw set to return and more. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. And we're going to round up all the latest Manchester United news that's come out in the last couple of hours into a 10-minute video for you guys, so you are completely up to date on the news. Starting with this by Laurie Whitmore, who's a very, very credible source of information, probably the up there with Romano and Hornsey when it comes to Manchester United news. He said, alongside the talks for Patrick Dorgu, United are working on another potential deal. Now, could that be Dorgles, the RB Salzburg player? We know Romano's linked us to Dorgles and said that we're looking at him. He's got a relationship with Vivel. Or could that be something bigger? Now there's an expectation behind the scenes that Alejandro Garnacho is to leave United. Could it be another wingback? Could it be two wingbacks? Because Ruben Amorim's two wingbacks. Who is that second name? We're going to talk about that in a second, but it was said by David Ornstein that United are looking at a number of different options for a number of different positions. And I think if you're United, you look at left wing back and you look at left 10 in the window. You even potentially look at right wing back because I think Mazraoui suits right centre back more. So who could be that second signing we're looking at? Because this is what Fabrizio Romano's had to stay. Cunha's situation from now to end of January remains one to watch. A new deal has not been formally signed yet, as reported 2 days ago, and the club showing interest with Arsenal still keen and not only, is what's been said as well. Victor Pereira's post-match words yesterday were strong. Cunha leaving is one to watch. Wolves. I didn't think Cunha was going to leave in Wolves. I didn't think Wolves were going to sell him, but they can't get him tied down to a new deal. He's going to be even cheaper in January. Now, Arsenal are leading the race for Cunha. Arsenal are trying and working on this Cunha deal, but Cunha's always hinted about moving to United. He's been linked to Man United for far longer. Apparently, he's a Manchester United fan, and I actually think Arsenal are just going to stick him at left wing and striker, but if we actually play him as a left 10, where he's playing with Wolves, that is his best position, so maybe we can beat Arsenal to this. I think if Garnacho's sold, we have the money for Cunha. And I think that could be one to watch. But I think it only happens if Garnacho's sold. And I think they would only sanction Garnacho's sale to Napoli if they were confident they could bring in a replacement. If Ruben Amorim was confident he could bring a replacement. Because selling Garnacho and bringing in Dorgles is not a replacement. But selling Garnacho and bringing in Cunha, I think is a deal that maybe Amorim would consider. Now, I still think, the whole selling Garnacho situation is crazy because he's only 20 years of age. He's actually a really, really good player. And it could be a deal that we massively regret. But then I also think, well, system and Cunha is better than Garnacho for the system. I've got so many mixed thoughts. But let's talk about Dorgu and then we'll talk about Garnacho and the latest on that. So what is the latest on Dorgu? Apparently Manchester United are prepared to offer 30 million including bonuses to sign Dorgu. There's a feeling that United are going to meet Lecce today, put in the bid, make the offer that Lecce want and get the Dorgu deal done. We'll have to wait and see. It was said discussions are advancing for Patrick Dorgu move to Manchester United. The club may go over to Italy to try and speed up the process, said David Ornstein. He's saying the deal is advancing. United are on the way to Italy. However, Di Marzio said this: Napoli want to block the Patrick Dorgu by signing him this month and leave him on loan to Lecce. The parties are close to an agreement, but the situation could change if United are offered. Now, Di Marzio is nowhere near as reliable as he used to be, and he's become a bit of a mouthpiece for certain teams. I think it's a bit of a PR game. I think this is a game from either Napoli to allow them to get Garnacho and us to lower the fee, or this is a game from Lecce to try and worry United and speed them up into bidding. Man United want to get Dorgu for 25 million. The price tag on Dorgu is 25 million. All of a sudden, Man United coming for Dorgu, they want 30 to 35 million. Man United want to try and get 25 million. So they're trying to scare United into paying up and giving them a little bit more money. I think the situation could be. It was said a meeting between Napoli and Manchester United will take place to understand the terms of the Garnacho deal, but also Lecce and Patrick Dorgu. So I think the Garnacho and Dorgu deal will very much be heating up today and tomorrow, could be discussed, could potentially be finalised. Because in regards to Garnacho, we've obviously heard that we're working the Dorgu deal, we're going to make a bid. Dorgu suggests to United he wants the move. United want to bring in Dorgu. We know that Antony's move's gone through, and we're just waiting to see what happens with Dorgu now. But I actually do think we'll beat Napoli to the Dorgu signing. I think the information coming out from Di Marzio was to try and play United into upping the bid. But what will happen with Garnacho? Alejandro Garnacho is Napoli's dream signing. They're pushing a lot for him and hope to reach an agreement. Antonio Conte already has a video call with him, and Chelsea also had first contact with Manchester United today for Alejandro Garnacho. He's one of the top targets. There's a battle for Garnacho, and there's a 60 million price tag on Garnacho, but there's two clubs that are very willing to pay out that money. Two clubs that don't pay out money unless they think they're getting a good deal, which tells you everything you need to know. And selling Garnacho could be one of those things that we regret. And I want to quickly show you this tweet by Paddy, because while Garnacho hasn't been in the best form, and I do think Cunha is a better fit for the system, it feels a bit weird Garnacho leaving. When Garnacho leaves United, it will feel like an ultimate sliding doors moment, a sign of how far we've fallen. When was the last time we sold someone world-class potential before they came world-class for us? United used to make stars, now we're just a stepping stone for players who don't want to spend their prime watching us fight for 7th place. And that's the worrying thing. Garnacho seems very open to leaving Manchester United. All of a sudden, are we going to be the stepping stone club? Are we going to be selling our stars? Now, Garnacho hasn't been in his best form lately, and I don't think he 100% suits Ruben Amorim's system. So to an extent, I can understand selling him. But the United of last year wouldn't have sold Maino and Garnacho. They were the FA Cup heroes. I have very mixed thoughts on Garnacho going. I'd rather him go to Napoli. And I think if Garnacho goes for a big fee and we do spend that money on Cunha, I guess it kind of makes sense. But it's like with Garnacho, yes, he's not great at the moment, but you need to remember it's so much potential. He's so raw as a player. Like, I'm going to show you this on Garnacho. The most goal involvements for players aged 21 or under since the start of the 22-23 season. Garnacho's there on 37. There's a reason there's a lot of interest in him. Continuing on Garnacho, it said that Napoli continue to push for Alejandro Garnacho move in, which is driven by Conte. 2 offers placed today, and they are closer to Manchester United's valuation now. Chelsea are also considering a bid, knowing Manchester United may reluctantly sell around £59 million as well. So Chelsea are considering a bid, Napoli pushing for Garnacho. Conte really wants it. Napoli are in a title race. They've got the money. I think Napoli would pay up the longer this goes on. I think Chelsea now entering the race as well could push Napoli into bidding higher, which is done us a favour, although I don't want him to go to Chelsea. And I also think Chelsea, it's not just because I don't want him to go to Chelsea, but Chelsea have more wingers. Obviously, you can see with Neto and Madueke's performance yesterday why Chelsea may want Garnacho, but Chelsea have way more wingers than us. It was said that Napoli sporting director Giovanni Manno will sit down with Manchester United delegation today in Italy to discuss the deal for Garnacho, and apparently Napoli are close to the deal. Some sources behind the scenes are saying there could be a breakthrough in terms of Garnacho going to Napoli tonight, which is pretty crazy, because if you said to me back in August that Garnacho would be sold, I'd have said you're crazy. It was also said that Napoli have informed Manchester United they can offer them a discount on Victor Osimhen's 63 million price if they cooperate with the Garnacho deal, and maybe Man United will. Maybe Man United want Osimhen. I still think Cunha is a better fit for what we need, but I think Osimhen is a top player. But I mean, what's scary is the fact that the deal is close. Napoli are ready to close the deal. Napoli are ready to potentially up the bid, push Garnacho. They're getting closer to United's valuation with the offers right now. It's pretty mad. Also, Garnacho apparently favours a move to Chelsea, which I think would be absolutely crazy if he does, because he's Napoli's dream signing. He's just another young player at Chelsea that they'll play in the Conference League. But Garnacho's agent was in attendance at the Stamford Bridge game, playing agent games, which I hate it when agents do that, but that's just what they do. Now, let's talk about a few other stories, because will Garnacho, Antony and Rashford all leave in the same window? I know we've got a manager that doesn't play wingers and plays wing-backs, so obviously they're the big changes that need to happen in terms of the fullbacks and the wingers. But could there be another exit as well? Because Florian Plettenberg said earlier today that Marcus Rashford remaining in Manchester at the end of the transfer window is becoming an increasingly realistic scenario. This was said by Florian Plettenberg, by the way. And he said, so far, no financial agreement between Dortmund, AC Milan or Barcelona has happened. Nothing's been decided yet. The salary alone is too excessive. There's a lot of people saying that no one wants to pay the money for Rashford. A lot of people want Rashford, but they want Rashford where Man United are paying most of the money. And if we're getting rid of Garnacho and we're getting rid of Antony and we're a bit thin in attack, would United want to pay most of the money for Rashford to go out? Probably not. Although, considering Rashford's been dropped from the squad for 10 games and Ruben Amorim clearly doesn't rate him, as much as I like Rashford, you've got to get him gone. You can't bring him back. That's a disgrace for Ruben Amorim if we bring Rashford back because we can't sell him. It's a disgrace for the manager who clearly wants him gone, by the way. But it was said that Marseille have sounded out a loan for Rashford, but there's still no concrete developments in regard to an exit for Rashford. His preference is a move to Barcelona. Barcelona are focusing on offloading players. I think Rashford goes to Barcelona on deadline day, and if I'm completely honest. And last but not least, Luke Shaw's expected to return to United first team training at the end of the week, pending a positive outcome and assessment on Wednesday. Let's hope it all goes well with Luke Shaw, because I tell you what, we need him, but he'll probably get injured again. That is all the latest Manchester United news rounded up in 10 minutes. I will be back live at 5 p.m. tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye.